The safety of the children is really, really important to us. We want them to have a fantastic week, but we also want them to be safe. And if at any point during the week that you have any concerns about anything, please, please, please don't hesitate to talk to one of us. You can talk to Neil, you can talk to me. You'll also meet Alex when she gets here, and she's another person within the church who works in the area of child protection. So what I'm about to tell you is not to scare you, it's not to worry you about what to expect, it's just to prepare you so that you can be protected and so that we can all be informed as to how best we can protect our children. You see, what we're looking for is anything that we might be... Sorry, I'll do that again. It may be that when we begin the week, that there are certain things that you just feel a little bit uncomfortable with. It may be that a child consistently turns up without any lunch, that they consistently turn up with dirty clothes, that they just look as if they've been neglected or feel a little bit unloved. It may be that they've got bruises in slightly unusual places. They're not really giving clear instructions or reasons as to why the bruises are there. It may be that they don't respond in the way that you would expect them to praise or to just being... It may be that they don't respond properly to praise or just being steered away when they're doing something wrong. It may be that they are not able to communicate properly and you realise there's maybe some emotional difficulties that are going on. And it may be that they behave or they speak or they act in a way which is slightly inappropriate in relation to sex. And you think again that the age that they are, it's not appropriate that they're talking or behaving in that particular way. Now it may be, for all of those things, it may be coincidence, it may be absolutely nothing. But we want to make sure that we're protecting them and us in case things do come to light a little bit later on. And so, without wishing to spoil the week, without wanting you to be completely on your toes all the time and on tenterhooks, we want just to be sure that we're all aware that these things might happen. It's a very, in a good way, pressurised environment in adventures. Lots of things going on, and relationships build really quickly. And it may be that a child chooses to share something with you, to speak to you about something that's going on outside of their lives. And because you are a little bit distant, because you're from another country, because you're a little bit different, again in a good way, it may be that they choose to come to you to tell you those things. And again, without wishing to worry you, but just to prepare you, we've just come up with these 5 golden rules just to make sure that you're fine and prepared with what's going on. So the first one, don't be alone with a child. Now, to be honest, when you get here, when you see our site and when you see the number of children that we have, it's pretty much impossible to be alone anywhere because there'll be so many people around and so much going on. But just to be aware for this, maybe when you're on a trip and a child wants to go to the toilet, just at any time, make sure that you're not alone. It may be if a child does want to talk to you, that you can be within a room with other people doing things in a different part of the room. But just be safe and just be aware of what's going on. Again, it may be that a child comes to you and says, can you keep a secret? It's really important that we don't promise confidentiality. Even if it looks like not promising that will cause the child not to say anything, we need to make sure that we're strong on that. Just share that you will have to tell someone. Try and make it someone that the child knows. Hopefully by the time they do, it would be myself or Neil, or even just your group leader, someone that they know who you say, actually, I'm going to have to share it with that, but do encourage them to tell you what it is. Of course, if it turns out to be that they've got a surprise party for their dad at the weekend, then of course that's okay. But even these things, we have to make sure that we're not promising that we won't ever pass these things on. It's also not our role to do the investigation. We're not in any way professionals. The training that we've received, the training that we're passing on to you, is very, very minimal. What we need to do, if we do have concerns, is immediately pass it on. And when things come back to me, when they come back to Neil, we immediately get on the phone to the experts and they then take it from there. The more that we investigate, the more questions that we ask, the more liable that we are to be accused of changing things, adding things, and just putting things inside the child's head, which can hinder things when it comes to investigations later on. This is another one that can be a little bit tricky just on the surface, but don't initiate physical contact. It may be again that in this situation where we're having such a fun time, that children love to come up and say, oh, can you give me a piggyback? I'm tired. Can you carry me? Can I sit on your knee? At every stage we have to say, no, we don't want to be unfair, we don't want to be distant in that way, but we just need to protect ourselves and each other. So again, obviously if a child falls over, feel free to lift them up, but it's those uninitiated moments from our point of view. Just make sure that everything that we're doing, that we're being wise, that we're making sure that everything that we're doing is well above board and could be construed as nothing else. And the final thing, and particularly when it comes towards the end of the week, please don't give your contact details to a child. In the past, we've had Americans and some of our children build up fantastic relationships. And what we normally do is speak to the parents, ask them to give us their email address, and then all the contact goes through the child. But please, please, please don't give out Facebook details, email addresses, private phone numbers. Please come to us and tell us that one of the children would like to stay in contact, and then we'll be able to set that up so that you can keep on your input from across the waves. We do value what goes on outside this year. Some of your guys have been fantastic at the past in keeping up with our children and young people and encouraging them throughout the year, reminding them of all the things that they've learned. But we need to make sure we do that in a wise and a way which brings glory to the Lord and keeps the safety of the children paramount.